Good morning, all you sweetie pies and fireflies. I slept in till 9 o'clock today, which is not usual for me. I'm usually up at 6:30, which I know is not that early. But I'm not trying to get into a peeing contest. But I wanted to share about how my Lughnasadh is going. So yesterday I worked a 10-hour day like I always do, and I did intentionally pick the pumpkin from my yard as my first fruits and set up an altar, and I got some really beautiful new tarot cards that I'm excited about. They intimidate me and excite me at the same time because I think tarot is one of those things that I might always be learning, kind of like astrology. And, that's kind of not really daunting, but you just never feel like, oh yeah, I got this. I don't know. Anyway, which that's really exciting. I'm gonna do that Sunday. I'm gonna play with these cards and work with these cards Sunday, and I will film that if you're interested. It'll be just a reading for us all. I feel like my tarot journey is more kind of the same way that I use astrology, like your unfolding psychology, or things you need to incorporate, things that you need to incorporate in your life more fully. Maybe just things you're not paying as much attention to or seeing. But so I wanted to talk about last night. I'm kind of like dancing around the topic because I'm like, I wonder how to put it into words, but I'm just going to put it into words. So as I meditated on like the Lughnasadh theme prompts, different beautiful resources I've found by watching videos on YouTube about it. And, it's the very first harvest. He's not good at his claws. I'm scared he's going to put his claws in my leg. But now he's making biscuits. Oh, sugar, baby. He needs lovin's. You need lovin's, you sweet. It's just AJ. It's okay. You're safe. It's really a focus on a harvest and not just the pumpkin in my yard, like what is it that I've been working toward, like diligently or whatever, and what has harvested, due to my work. He's pushing the phone. Okay. Oh, a crow. But anyway, crows are here all the time. It's hard for me to take them as a sign for anything because I'm always surrounded by crows. Anyway, but I will talk about signs later on. So I identified what I'm harvesting, and what I have harvested is these very calm, loving, peaceful relationships in my big family. I've got kids. The oldest is 17. Then there's a 14-year-old. Then there's an 11-year-old. Well, I'm sorry. Then there's a 12-year-old. And then there's a 10-year-old. There actually isn't an 11-year-old. I don't know what I'm talking about. And then a 7-year-old. So, kids that, although we don't have the baby and the toddler years or the preschooler years even, our families, we got a lot of stages going on. We got a teenager ready to fly the nest. We've got, teenagers, junior high, elementary students. And then there's me. And, you know, families can be, especially with lots of kids, aren't necessarily always that peaceful. And ours has not always been that peaceful, is why I can confidently say this. And obviously, um, most of my friendships and experiences are people with families. And so, you know, I know how it goes. And it can be hard. More often than not, it's definitely challenging. And I wouldn't say ours hasn't been very challenging, but I feel like my consistent approach to how I do the relationships in my family, being present, holding space, being non-judgmental, being loving, being nurturing, being reasonable with my own personal boundaries, which for me that means making time for myself and not getting to the point where I'm frustrated, or like I take it out on them that I haven't set a boundary and been like, I'm gonna go take a bath, I need to relax, I'm tired, I'm gonna rest, just normal things that some people, including me, have had issues with making boundaries around. So those are all things that I've been intentionally growing in and intentionally practicing within my family. And the last couple days, I've kind of had it in the back of my head, what am I harvesting? What have I been working on? And I noticed that there were times that could have developed into a fight or chaos or hurt feelings or things like that. And we have a major square going on, and the astrology has not been very peaceful. So I know that there's a lot of energy related to self-expression, and that coming up against Saturn and Neptune, disappointment, boundaries, things like that. Right here is we're all going school shopping. We have a square from Venus values squaring boundaries and delusion. I'm like, great, there's going to be some of that energy to defeat. But that's the thing. There's always going to be challenges like that come. And it's in your approach. It's in how you deal with it when it comes, and it's in how you carry your faith that in doing what you're doing, it's going to be okay. Like, it's all going to be okay, because you know that you're here for the long haul. You know that you're setting boundaries because it's what's reasonable, not because you're being stingy or overly restrictive or things like that. Sorry, I ate like an energy ball with all kind of seeds in it right before I sat down. But and it's bugging me. I feel stuff in my teeth. Anyway, so I guess what I'm saying is, even with all these challenges to go through, I feel very comforted that the harvest that I'm seeing, this first fruits of the harvest, is that even when we face a bump in the road or a challenge, my family is definitely growing in its ability to emotionally regulate and to trust each other, trust the other members, that their relationships are grounded in love. and not chaos, and not, unpredictability. Like, everything will be okay. We'll get through challenges together. And the fights have just been, more like fleeting annoyances more than ingrained, dug in, problems, wars like that are ongoing, grudges. And I do think a lot of that is due to my mindset and the work that I've put in through parenting. Not that it's all up to me, but I mean, a mother is a very important figure, and I'm setting the tone for them, and I'm one of the biggest examples of a person in their life, whether they want it that way or not. So I can see definite first fruit harvests this Lughnasadh in my family and my relationships, and that makes sense because there's nothing more important to me. I was going to share one more little thing if I have time before someone needs something, but last night I did a Lughnasadh ritual bath, and I decided I was going to try candle scrying. And I used my very favorite candle, you probably saw it, that I only burn for very special occasions. It's the Shy Wolf High Priestess. And I lit it. Somebody just realized where I'm at. But the flame was flickering and slow and steady. It didn't flame up real high or anything. It was very slow and steady. So that really resonated with what I was saying earlier, that I feel that the work that I have put in and the work I've been doing is of a very slow and steady nature. Just consistent, persistent, loving, calm, not too big, not too small, present. And something happened, which does a lot of times. One of my kids, we only have one bathroom, and one of my kids needed to use the bathroom while I was taking my bath. I think I might need to start the coffee again. I'll be right back. No, it was fine. She was just getting some coffee, but our coffee pot has a tendency to just shut off randomly, and then I have to restart it. I don't know why. It's from Brim, by the way, in case you want to avoid having a coffee pot that does that. But otherwise, I guess it's great. It also tends to shoot the granules up the side, and we get it in our coffee. But I'm really far from a perfectionist, so I would rather just not buy another one and deal with the problems. But so as I was taking my bath and kind of musing on these harvests and things like that, we have one bathroom, and one of the kids needed to use the bathroom, and so not a big deal. I just drew the shower curtain so that they could go while I continued to take my bath. And I thought that was a good illustration of sharing my life with others. I was not bothered. I felt really calm and like that was not a hard situation to handle. But at the same time, I thought how that would have been very possible for me at a different level of maturity to have been oh, I need my time. I can't deal with this right now. Oh, why can't you wait? Why do you always have to do this? That could have happened. And it wasn't even in me for that to happen. It didn't even feel that. I just thought, oh, okay, well, we can easily solve this. I will just pull the curtain, you can do your thing. And and he talked to me a little bit and did his thing and went on his way. And as he was doing that, I saw a bug in the curtain that, mind you, I would not have seen. I wouldn't have seen it had I not been calm, in the flow, and allowing with my boundaries. Still having boundaries, but holding them lightly in a way that honored the flow of life and the flow of relationship. It's so many deep things, concepts are actually very paradoxical. You have to really open your mind to get all the layers, and this is one of those. So if all this hadn't happened, and if I hadn't had some boundaries and been doing my own thing, plus been in the flow of relationships and been doing it at the same time, meeting the needs of others reasonably within my own framework of boundaries, I would have never seen that bug. And for me, the bug represented all the things that you don't want, because I didn't want that in my space. Call it negativity, people with bad intentions, bad people, bad energy, things you want protection from, things you want out of your space. I was able to see it, and I remember having the thought right before I grabbed my shoe and smashed it, like, I am really relaxed, and by the time I get my shoe and get this thing off of my curtain, it could run away and I may not get it, but I just did it anyway. I had a choice in that moment to just be like, forget about it, I'm not even going to try, or to grab my shoe and bat it down and smash it. That's what I did. And then I took the rest of my bath, and then I got out my antibacterial wipes and spray, and then I got rid of that mess. But the thing was, in my state of relaxation, of flow, of nurturing my own boundaries, that I was doing simultaneously, I was able to identify the problem and maintaining a state of relaxation, but with motivation to act at the same time. So many paradoxes in what I was thinking last night, and I really think that is really how things are, guys. It's not actually black and white. It's a bunch of paradoxes that we have to relax our mind to take in. But anyway, it was that combination of relaxation and willingness to act for the benefit of myself and my family. I was able to immediately smash it. And I think that part was the cooperation of the universe. Because I didn't have control over that bug in any way. But I believe divine universal energies do have control over everything. And it just happened to where I was able to be in the flow and completely kill it anyway. And that symbolized, being able to be like a protector, mother role to my family, and keep us safe from harm and negativity and ill will and whatever else. So that was meaningful. That was my Lughnasadh experience. Very cool. I just wanted to share it because that's what it's all about. My little town is so busy today. I had to get $20 more from the bank because I don't carry a lot of cash around, and I gotta pay my mom $600 for rent. I gotta pay my granny $40 for her stuff she picked up for me at Sam's Club. So I have to get cash out of the bank so then I can pay them back today. I had to mail off this little change purse that I found at a thrift store. It was that Ministerial Alliance thrift store. I hauled it really early last month. I think what I'm gonna do, I have so much stuff at my house that I would really like to sell on eBay and get it out of my way, but I think I am going to go to that Ministerial Alliance one again. Woo, the police are out, but there's a lot of people out. That's a highway patrol. Anyway, I'm going to go there, I believe, this Sunday, and I'm going to just look around, see if there's anything cool. I was not intending on even getting any kind of things to thrift flip. I was just looking for fun for myself, and I have a regret. There was this lacy boho like duster or shawl. It was almost more like a shawl, and I was like, I don't know, but with the right outfit that would look so cool. Worst case scenario, I could probably have flipped it on eBay. What are the chances it's still there? I think it was about $5. You know, it was right at that point where I was like, if I'm not gonna wear it, you know, that's a waste of $5. I don't want to waste $5. I don't know. And the things I was wearing, you know, like, it didn't look good with it. Wasn't an outfit that I could really tell if it would go. So anyway, I might do that this Sunday. Now tomorrow is going to be a huge day because I'm going school shopping with the crew. I think my daughter really wants to go to the mall. So we're going to have to make a little bit of a trek, and so we can get to a mall. So, yeah, that's tomorrow. Today we're doing a fish fry at my mom's house because it's Friday and they're Catholic, and that's just something that they have started doing the last couple months, is having a fish fry every Friday. Oh, I put it in the back. So my Dollar General haul, I'm gonna be like Mother of the Year. I got a gallon of milk, and I thought that this really went with like Lughnasadh also, like being the first fruits of the season of harvest. My family is crazy about pumpkin spice lattes. So I thought maybe, just maybe, I know a lot of people think it's too early, but also because my first fruits was an actual pumpkin that volunteered in my yard. So I got pumpkin spice latte mix. I got that, and now this is traditional for me and my kids to do this. That is Kleenexes. Come on now, come on. We're having pumpkin spice lattes when I get home, baby. It was so funny. That's why I had to go first thing this morning, was because we ran out of milk last night. So I had to go to Dollar General and get the milk. It's back there. You know what a gallon of milk looks like. Like, I don't need to show you. But, anyway, my daughter, she tried to make do this morning. She tried to make her coffee, and she's like, Mom, when are we getting milk? She said, my coffee tastes like darkness and sugar. I thought that was so funny. So I had to go get some milk so her coffee tasted like more than just darkness and sugar. So they're going to be very happy when they see the pumpkin spice latte. I don't think they like to be filmed, so I probably won't film their reaction. They're always asking questions like, are you filming? Are you going to upload that? You know, so I'm not trying to get them involved in my channel at all. But yeah, I had one more thing I wanted to talk about, and this is kind of, you know, back into like astrology type of things. So Leo is at 9 degrees, and that's where, Mercury and the Sun are at 9 degrees of Leo. So we're having a Mercury Cazimi right now in Leo, wherever that falls in your chart. And in my chart, it falls in my third, and it rules my fourth, my IC, my family. And Leo is all about self-expression and joy, like what lights you up. And unfortunately, okay, so it's trining my south node conjunct my moon natal, which is in Sagittarius at 9 degrees. And I think what's interesting about it is that my mom has never liked what gave me joy and lit me up. Like, she has always, you know, if I were to share something with her and be like, oh my goodness, I love such and such, oh, isn't that cute? You know, she's like, you know, and it's also like at 9 degrees of Leo, it's a very wide opposition to Pluto in Aquarius. And I guess I just really, I feel like some of my, so it's weird that I say this, because the fact that my south node is conjunct my moon shows that I have to release a lot of issues in this lifetime that are involving my mother. And I feel like this is a perfect kind of challenge. Also, we're squaring. No, that's pretty wide to square. Never mind. That's when Venus comes into Cancer. That's when, well, and I'm ruled by Venus because I'm a Taurus rising. Anyway, if you are not into astrology, I'm sure this conversation is like painful. But anyway, I guess in a nutshell, I feel like my self-expression is helping me to release some of my mother issues, like being empowered, and just embracing my joy and self-expression. Anyway, I hope you know a little bit about astrology. Bye! Happy Lughnasadh! It's gonna be the best day of my life. One of the best things in life is if the little things make you happy. I'm gonna read my favorite book tonight with my favorite people. The duster cover is off. It's Let's Go Home.
Log off. On what? I can log off?
The illustrations are amazing. There was a frog in it. Oh my gosh. Hello, my little froggy.